negative one. Usually when people ask how I'm doing, the real answer is I'm doing shitty. But I can't say I'm doing shitty because I don't even have a good reason to be doing shitty. So if I say I'm doing shitty, then they say, why? What's wrong? And I have to be like, I don't know, all of it. So instead, when people ask how I'm doing, I usually say, I am doing so great.
You are alone, child. There is only darkness for you.
Not, how are you doing today? No, are you having an awesome day? Which is pretty shitty because it puts the onus on me to disagree with her. Like if I'm not having an awesome day, suddenly I'm the negative one.
I would like to start out by saying that my PC crashed, and I don't know if my work was saved or not. But listen, whatever happens now, happens now. Don't worry if I lost any progress on the big video. I was 15 minutes in, and it took 3 to 2 months working on it. But just support this channel for now with a like and sub. Thank you guys for understanding. As long as I have my YouTube channel, I wouldn't even care if I lost any of videos. I have you guys. So, with the hype surrounding the Fairly OddParents, the new Wish, I wanted to do a retrospect on the old series. And before I do talk about the old series, I just want to make an update on my last video talking about the new series. I don't hate the show anymore. I think I had unjustifiable hate towards something that I wasn't very knowledgeable about. Sure, I was angry towards them for leaving a series behind without finishing it or giving something a good farewell, something I hold dear to my heart, but I shouldn't hate something new before watching it. I shouldn't have carried the anger towards from the Garfield movie towards the Fairly OddParents New Wish, and I should have just judged it fairly on what we had at the time. Again, this is a growing moment for me and to learning how to criticize things fairly. But with that out the way, let's get into the video. Fairly OddParents is about a kid named Timmy Turner, who's, well, an average kid with no one understanding him, with his mom, dad, and Vicky, the babysitter, giving him commands. I think you understand where I'm going with this. I mean, for crying out loud, it's in the intro song. That aside, from the intro, and 9 times out of 10, Timmy is going through some rough times. His parents neglect him, the babysitter is abusive or just downright mean, and he gets bullied at school, with a crack-out teacher to boot. I mean, this sounds like 85% of kids out here. Isn't that strange? But the only saving grace he has is his godparents, aka his Fairly OddParents. See what I did there? But if we take them out of the show, what do we have left? I mean, think about it. What if we took the fiction out of it and made it more personal? I feel like Timmy's life is just like any kid growing up, and it sucks because they don't have a big enough voice to tell anyone. I feel like this show is the most relatable to any generation that comes because its foundation is based on not being heard, not being seen, or not being noticed. Now, I'm not speaking for the attention seekers, but I am speaking for the untold horrors that kids, teens, and adults go through in life without their story being told. And I would like to start out by talking about the first ever episode in the series, The Big Problem. Now, from my recollection, I didn't think this was the first episode. I do remember watching it as a kid, vividly remembering that Timmy became adult, but I didn't think they would just start out with a lesson like this. An episode teaching kids growing up fast isn't worth it. I thought it would be more wacky, and I'm happy to be wrong because there is an important life lesson here. It starts out with Timmy getting introduced to his Fairly godparents. You know, Cosmo and Wanda. Then we move along to school as he gets bullied by Francis, the school jerk. Then going to football practice, which this is very out of character for Timmy and I don't know why, but he's being used as a ball, which is just putting more emphasis on how weak and powerless he is to his problems around him. After all of that, he goes home saying,
"Can't wait to get home. At least I'm big in my parents' eyes."
Thinking his home is safe with his parents. But yet again, the problem keeps persisting, as even the parents make fun of him, while also leaving him with the babysitter that constantly berates him for existing, with him ending up in bed early and sad. Now, take what I just said and leave out the fairy godparents. This shit would honestly put someone in depression. The parents are just downright terrible, not vetting the babysitter, nor spending time with Timmy to see how his day was. He couldn't even get a word out to them about how shitty school was. And don't get me started on how schools don't really care about kids bullying each other. It's still been and has been a constant problem everywhere. Honestly, put yourself in this situation. You had a terrible day at school, college, or work, and then the only time for you to relax is when you're sleeping, because no one cares when you come home. This creates people who build emotional walls that won't allow others in, not even the closest people who try to help, because if no one cares, why share? Or if you're gonna get hurt, why share? And well, obviously that's destructive and I don't support that mindset, but it's really easy to fall into those types of pits. But thankfully, he has fairy godparents to help him out to get out of this one. He imagines that being an adult will somehow cure him of all his ailments. I'm talking about height, babysitter, driving, the whole 9 yards. So he comes to the conclusion that he needs to wish to be older, so life isn't so hard. I think we all know where this wish is going to go. He goes and does the stuff that he says, but in reality, it doesn't turn out pretty. So while rewatching the video back while editing, I saw and realized that Timmy's mom and dad got freaky in a movie theater. What age are they? They have a kid. Why don't they just get a hotel and I don't even know, man. This is insane. At the end, every adult thing he does, it doesn't turn out how he imagined. With him at the end crying for his mommy and daddy. Y'all are lucky you got that on audio. Since he was acting like a kid, he makes a wish again to be a kid and learns a lesson that it's okay to be small for the time being, and he's not rushing to become an adult anytime soon. And with the credits rolling and the ending and whatever. This episode is good, but also has some flaws. One of the major flaws in it is that growing up means it won't be fun. Or when you become an adult, life will only get worse, according to the message. It's like they laugh about it now, but when Timmy grows up, what then? They didn't really show the positives of being an adult, but then again, it was a wish that made him an adult with a childlike brain. So maybe it's hyperbolic, but I still feel like he didn't really change how the people around him treat him. It feels like, let's laugh it off with a one-liner type beat. And I know this was made around the 2000s, but I still feel like some criticism is needed here. It's almost like they had the whole picture, but a couple of parts were just not filled in. I just wish there was a message that would encourage you to speak out against it or try to solve the problem. But at the very end, it felt like the opposite. Timmy is still going to deal with Francis. He's still going to deal with the neglect of his parents. And he's still going to deal with Vicky being abusive. Which brings me back to the title of this video. The show's premise is pretty dark. The show itself is dark. And I can prove it once again with one more episode to review. Alright, listen chat, almost everyone and their mother covered this topic, but it's been a couple of years now, so I think it's the best time to bring it up again on how dark the show really was. This episode, mind you, was banned for how morbid and a bad life lesson it taught, is about how Timmy goes around doing people's favor out of the kindness in his heart. I mean, he just goes around being above and beyond. He paints a little background for his art teacher's play, he buys a PC for his friend, and he does the lawn for his mom and dad. But no, you know what happens? The art teacher is petty as fuck and starts complaining on how it's not the right colors. The friend doesn't want the PC because it's outdated and not with the times, throwing it out, and the mom and dad were trying to have the worst lawn ever to win a trophy. How up is it that all of these don't care about our boy Timmy Turner, even though he was doing something for nothing, which is called unconditional love or dedication. But no one cared. Even his fairy godparents were being ungrateful. So with everyone against him, he is fully justified to be mad at everyone. He wishes something that sounds really bad. He wishes he never existed. Now, his thought process was if he wasn't around, everyone's lives would be different or worse because he wasn't there. And so he just wished he never existed. Now, if we take this to the real world and think about that sentence is very close to thoughts, like borderline just being like, man, I wish I would never existed. I just wish I was gone. This is basically him saying, I wish to kill myself, type beat. What message are they trying to send here? I don't get it, because he did nothing wrong but try to help others. So he's punished for being good? What were the writers thinking? But I digress. This is the part you've been waiting for. He goes around seeing how everyone's life would have been affected by the change. The mom and dad, they're super rich, well off without their son. I mean, they have fat stacks because of their daughter and not because of their bum ass fucking son. Then we move along to Francis, the school jerk, but he's not a jerk anymore. Since he couldn't bully Timmy, he decided to use his anger towards something else and to the football team. And so it's because of Timmy, he's not there anymore, he's living a better life. The cracked out teacher is a Harvard professor teaching at a high level education, which, side note, it is Timmy's fault for making him go crazy, but that's not the point here. He's living a better life. Even AJ was getting held down by Timmy because without him there, he graduated college at the age of 5 and his hair would grow. You're telling me that his hair wouldn't grow without him there? Like, damn, how bad is it that you are such a problem? Your homie can't even grow hair. Next, they poof to where Cosmo and Wanda are, and they're at Chester's house. And Chester has the new fairy godparent. They're just way happier with him, doing good deeds. They even comment on how his teeth isn't stupid.
Yeah, and look at those perfect, braceless, not goofy teeth!
So selfless and wishing for others!
Pain! So much pain! So much pain!
Even the biggest op, Vicky, isn't causing harm to anyone anymore. She's a dental assistant. Even the Chicago Bears are doing great with him gone. Like, do you know how bad of an episode this really is? This is a prime villain arc ready to be made. I mean, Timmy had all the right to just be like, you know what? I'm gonna blow everyone up. You know what I mean? Also, let's talk about how there is a special place for kids who wish the same thing. Like, you're telling me multiple kids went through this? Okay, bud. You're just okay with kids unaliving. That's cool. Yeah, that's great. But at the end, Timmy wasn't having any of it, and he tried to fight back. He got the wand out of the giant fairy hand, and he was about to wish everything back to normal, but then realized it's best for him to disappear, because it would benefit everyone. Almost everyone in the world would be happier if he was gone. So he was ready to go into the fiery pits of hell. The I wish I never existed pit. Whatever the fuck that is. Anyway, this is giving me a lot of religious vibes, but at the very end, it was a test to see if he was ungrateful. He passed with flying colors because he was in the wrong for helping others and wanting to get that sweet recognition for doing good deeds. So he grants him one wish, and he wished for everything to be back to normal. With him ending being like, man, I'm so grateful to have the people around me being mean to me, ending there. First and foremost, why is there a strong symbolism to Christianity here? Like, maybe it's just me, but it reminds me of when people are like, if you unalive yourself, you will go to hell, with the pit of fiery of all the other kids going there. But that's not the point of the video. The main point is, the message is just ass backward. I would understand if it looked and sounded like he did everything just to get something back out of it, but he wanted a simple thank you or a good job. But everyone acted so outlandish and disrespectful that it drove him to making basically a death wish. He literally wished death upon himself. That's how dark the show could really be. If we took away the idea of him getting his wish back, he just unalived himself and everyone is happy about it. Nothing is fair about this episode, point blank. Nor does the lesson teach anything important except it's better for you to be gone. The writers did a really bad job here, and a worse one when coming up with the ending. It's nothing like the first episode mentioned. Sure, the first one did have a couple of flaws, but the lesson was teachable and understandable. This one, it teaches you to be okay with people disrespecting your hard work or them being ungrateful towards you. And I understand the message was about doing stuff unconditionally because it's the right thing to do, but it falls flat on its face when he was doing just that. He just felt unappreciated, which is a fair feeling to have when it comes to doing stuff for others who are just mean. Like, AJ completely tossed out his new gift just because it was outdated. Nothing about this episode sits right with the ending. Even makes it look like he wasn't doing good deeds in the beginning.
Oh, Timmy doing a good deed? What's gotten into him? Do you feel Timmy learned a huge life lesson without us?
Well, and that's how I came to the conclusion that Fairly OddParents is darker than you think. Maybe I am overthinking this, maybe not, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope to see you guys again. Sorry for the different editing style, I'm on my laptop at the moment. Ciao.